traffic, but we're ready to start our meeting.
Discussion.
Discussion, action, and approval of minutes. Other than the correction that we had, is there anything else that needs to be modified in that?
Ms. Garza or Mr. Pineda?
No, I approve the minutes.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion to approve.
I motion to approve.
The second,
Second.
okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Public comment? Do we have public comment today?
No, I didn't
No,
get anything.
No, other than Commissioner
Okay.
Galante.
We'll go into- Thank you for visiting us today. Library reports, we'll start out with adult services.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Berta and.
No, hold on.
Sorry.
Go number 4, a discussion and action of repurposing the main library. Number
Oh,
4.
I'm sorry.
Turn around in the back. Thank you.
He's looking at one.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, you look at the wrong one. That one, turn it around, right, go, number 4.
Discussion and action reporting main libraries, public areas for service improvement.
Yes, I would like to introduce Mr. Jorge Cardenas. He's our CIO, and Mr. James McCoy. And they'll be making a presentation on what have been done to modernize technology-wise the library. But also, he'll be talking about what the future entails in relation to technology, and it relates to this specific room. And so, Jorge, without further ado.
Good evening, everyone. So as Juan stated, my name is Jorge Cardenas. I am the CIO for the city, and I have James here as the IT director for the city. So there has been a lot of changes going on in the city for the past 2 years and 7 months that I've been here. James been in the city for 27 years.
Huh?
So,
Actually, I retired and came to.
yeah, so. So we started a initiative of a smart city roadmap, and we are actually right now building what is called a 5G, our own private 5G network for the city, so that our police and fire the trucks can connect to their own devices, right? So that's really gonna change how they operate and change how they do their business on the day-to-day, operation. So with that is we also want to do something here at the library to bring technology. And I know Juan and the team, and when James was here at the library is being one of those places where technology, they attract those kids to be innovative, and they come here and they have the computers where they do research, they have the books, and they have the place to innovate and think about what is the future. So with that, we started thinking about, and Ms. Ramirez, the city manager, she's like, we want to create something at the library, a lab. And we started first, it's like we want to, get one of the city buildings to create a lab. And then we were like, okay, we started looking around, and we couldn't find the right location. Then I'm like, why not the library? Because the library has, again, like I said, it's a place where, we have computers, we have books, we have the kids. That one has a lot of cool things here that we can use, for that reason. So, and he has a space. So we started looking at a lot of the rooms that are here in this library and Southmost. And we found, we decided to go with the room that is on that location. What is it called?
The Inner Research Center.
Research Center. And because it's big, it has a lot of space. And what we're going to do, the goal is to remove all the furniture that is on that room. And we're going to bring a smart board. We're going to bring smart boards. We're going to create a room, immersed room that's going to have projectors. It's going to have a smart board. And it's a simulator pretty much where people can go in there and create a 360-degree view of pretty much anything they can go in there. An example is like a lab that we've been to. It's like you can go in there and you can drive it. Like he has a simulator of driving a car, right? You can go there and bring your simulator. You can drive a car and you can create a 360-degree view of you driving the car. You can see the front, back, side, and everything. Or another example is you can actually create, like when you put your VR, those glasses, it's like being inside of that room is being inside of a hospital, for example, where you doing surgery, right? You can see everything around you. It's almost like if you were inside of that actual hospital room. So that's like creating a live moment inside of that room. So that's for all those schools can come in here and use it. You know, any kids that want to experience that moment, that's what that room is going to be for. Also, we want to put in there, network and system equipment for actual equipment that we've been removing from the city data centers. We want to put it in there for the Brownsville citizens so that they can practice, so that they can learn. Because I know a lot of kids go to school, they go and learn about cybersecurity, network systems. But yeah, one thing is actually learning, but another thing is actually doing hands-on training. My daughter, when I was just telling Ms. Galassi that my daughter, she did cybersecurity, right? And she went to school, but then I was like, you got to do some practice. And she's like, well, I need a lab. And I'm like, she's like, well, do a virtual lab. She can build a virtual lab, but it's not the same. You having an actual device is different. So I bought her actually switches and servers for her to actually do hands-on practice. And it was, a big difference for her. So that's kind of what I want to create here for the citizens, an actual hands-on environment where kids can come in here and actually get a physical device and an environment where they can play and pretty much mess it up, and we can clean it up and they can go at it again. So that's what we want to create here. And also the smart board, we're going to create a big, pretty much a space for meetings, for one can rent it out for any company that wants to come in here and wants to use that space to use that big smart board. The smart board is about 120 inches. The screen is pretty big, touch screen. They can have their meetings, they can have conferences, they can do a lot of things. And also we are collaborating with many companies that are donating some equipment. The goal is to bring some robots into the library where they can be roving around, where people can go and ask them, like, hey, where's this book? And they can actually guide them to where the book is, or have, all kinds of things in the library that can be, cool for the people in Brownsville. So with that is like, so some of the furniture that is over there, or the computers, since we're going to remove the computers on that room, the plan is to use this room as a computer room, bring some of the computers here. So I guess in the future, your meetings will be on that room over there. So, but it will be a lot better, a lot more.
And just a point of reference, after COVID, when that building, James, you and I were here, when that building was created, 199 computers fit there. In 2012, it was used. As time passes and COVID, all people have computers in the phone. So the need for computers had decreased. The need for Wi-Fi and internet has increased. So everybody can print from their phone. So after COVID, we removed some computers and we noticed that people are not being using them anymore. And little by little, there's less people using the computers and more on the phone. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to increase the amount of computers that we're actually now working. We're going to put 20 computers here and there's 12 computers outside. It'll be more confined just for the Internet Resource Center. And so that basically that room had not been used. So we're going to use that for for a different purpose. So we're still gonna have the same computers, it's just in a more confined, more private area, if you will. We're gonna change the lighting and everything. Because studies have showed that the darker it is, the better for people to browse. So we're asking for you to basically approve this concept to better improve our services. Any questions from Mr. or James? You want to?
No, yeah, I'll add a couple of things. I'm excited to be back here at the library, working with the staff. This is kind of the natural evolution of what we did here. So I taught some of the classes, the robotics classes, some of the computing classes, network classes, did for many years here. And just to see where we were with little drones and things like that, we're going to be bringing in big drones, big robotics. I mean, it's just the natural evolution and the next place for us to go. So really excited about that. I will touch on Cloud9 and Visionware just real quick. It's separate from that, but what are we doing behind the scenes to improve service to the patrons? So in Visionware, Cloud9 is a new reservation system for all the PCs. So we were having issues with the old system. We've upgraded that. So it's going to improve the printing, improve the experience for the patrons, going to vastly improve the reporting that they're able to give to the board as far as, how many room rentals, how many PCs, things like that. So,
And the annual report too, which is right there.
yeah. So that was it.
Yes, thank you. So again, this is again, I always use the word be relevant to the community. And so we need to continue to evolve. Again, after COVID, many libraries did not open. So we're here to continue to improve, evolve. And as you came in, you see the public is enjoying our services, even with the restaurants being remodeled. And so I think this is the next step. I think we're ahead of the curve. And thanks to an amazing team here that's going to help us do this. I think the end result is our patrons and ourselves. I'm looking forward to using the simulator, as ourselves to continue to evolve and provide the best services for our residents. They deserve this. So.
Well, I think our staff is excited about what's coming up. I think that the changes that are coming up are exciting for our library, and we welcome them. And thank you all for everything you're doing.
Is there any question from the board members or virtually or comments?
Yes, I just wanted to say that it's a great way to maximize the space that I already have there, your footprint, and yet staying relevant to everything that the students are currently experiencing at school, like such as robotics and all these STEAM activities that would definitely then, move over to their public library as well. So great ideas. And if you all need anything, just let me know.
Just approve it.
So we
That
need
is-
A motion is second to.
okay. We need a motion to approve this.
I motion to approve.
Need a second?
Mr. Pineda?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll be sharing the before and after pictures
Yes.
so they can see what we had before and what we have now and looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next, we go into library reports. We have adult services.
Good job.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So we can get started, no problem. During the month of February, we had the activity called Date Night at the Library. We had couples or pairs and friends to come in and learn about the library, do a little challenge, and get a reward, get a prize. So at both branches, we had them look for items. For example, go in the romance section, find a book with a pink cover. So they have to go into the shelves. I sort of guided them, telling them, this is where we have the fiction section. This is where we have the nonfiction. This is where we have the newspapers. I kind of gave them those hints, but the rest of the tasks they had to complete on their own without the help of any library staff help. So they would do that, and the people that got to complete all the tasks and be the very first ones, they would get a prize. At Southmost, they had a little extra help since one of our staff members plays the guitar and sings. So as you can see him in the corner, top right, he played for them as well. Okay. Thanks.
Is that Lázaro?
No,
Michael.
I need new glasses.
So during the month of February, we continued with the computer classes. We had Canva. We showed them how to use it, and they made a little mini poster of anything of their interest. I showed them about files and folders, the difference between each. We presented to them the Mango Languages database, where they can learn a new language, and some of them practice Japanese. Some Spanish speakers practice the English. And I think one person did Dutch. I'm not mistaken. It's been somewhere.
Rebel.
We continue with the checkout a librarian. Though that service, it's where a patron calls or they ask a librarian if we can do a one-on-one and help them individually. And so some of their questions are like, how can I do this on my computer? Or how do I move files and things like that? Or how do I do a wireless print? How can I make a calculation on an Excel sheet? Those kind of things. So, and it goes for like 30 minutes. Then the adult services librarian at Southmost has continued to do the work for the little libraries as well. Always getting books based on donations that we get. We send them over to Southmost, and when Southmost gets donations, there too. At the end of the month, we had a small project from Austin who came and they presented at both library branches. They interviewed immigrants and told their stories through music, through songs that they created. So all songs were either in Spanish or I think I even heard kind of like Portuguese a little bit. So because the immigrants are from Latin America, that's what it was. And they were interviewing the ones that were in Austin. So they came over here and they were singing some of the songs, and if we can put play, so you can just listen a little tiny bit of what they played. Okay, I wanted it very nice and short because, yeah, we don't want the file to be heavy. Oh, and so like, as you can see, we had people come in, come out. They didn't stay for the whole performance because it was an hour and a half. And then the people that would pass by, they enjoyed it, even though they didn't stay. They're like, that's very beautiful. So, yeah. And it was Child Days weekend. During this month of March, we are continuing with the computer classes. And today we have a cooking class. We're going to be doing the macaroni salad. That's what we're preparing right now in the main meeting room. We're going to have the adult crafternoon, and we got many likes on Facebook for this one since we're going to be doing adult diamond painting. And with the adult diamond painting, it's not just little circles that they're doing, but they're going to be like coasters or keychains. So it's a little something they can use. And then for the Adult Services Committee, we invited the guest speaker, C.D. Forrester, Hunter Lose, and he's going to be talking about landscaping here in Brownsville, the initiatives that are happening with the city. And he's going to be open to questions from the public for that.
What day?
This month, on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. And it'll be at Southmost.
Okay.
It's on our calendar. Does anybody have questions?
I do have a question on the checking out the librarian. Is that through your website or how does that work?
So we, like, whenever I have the computer classes, I promote it. And this could be for Whenever they call, they just ask, and even through email too, they can ask for a librarian. It's not really much promoted. I haven't seen much of it recently, but it was out there.
Okay. So you can like chat like virtually or something. You have to call in then.
We have chat available like through Facebook. Whenever they want to send the library a message, they can. Also through Gabby messaging, like on their phone, whenever they receive a text message, they can chat with us too. But asking for help from a librarian through chat, any other?
We also do it through the BPL email. Yeah.
Through the BPL email. Okay.
Any other questions on under adult services? You're finished.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Youth services.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Avery Danielson, the children's librarian here. All right. So here are some pictures from several of our events from the month of February. So one of my favorites is the little girl at toddler play date on the top left. Super cute. We had Lego Lab and toddler play date, stories y cuentos, stories and snacks, sensory friendly play date, and bouncing babies at both branches.
Can you talk a little bit about your sensory friendly?
Yes, definitely. Our sensory friendly play date is fairly new. We've in the last maybe 5 months or so. It's an environment. Kind of like toddler play date is an environment just for toddlers to play with each other. Sensory friendly environment creates a space where individuals with sensory friendly needs can come and enjoy some sensory bins we have set out. And it's just like free play. There's not really a structure to it. So we keep the lights low, we play some sensory friendly music. It's a low stress environment. And the bins, they're all different, and they all have different items in them for different tactile sensory needs. One of them has sand, like kinetic sand, that sand that kind of like moves. It doesn't just stay still. Another one has rice, another uncooked rice. Another has popcorn kernels. Another has dried pasta, and they each have little toys in them, and kids and families just come and play, and it's really neat. It's really neat to see.
Have you had children with special needs come to your sensory class?
Yes, every time, every single time. I would say our average total amount of people, I would say, is about 30 who come to those. They don't always stay the whole time, but a lot of them do. They'll come with their parents and they'll go from one table to the next. And yeah, it's been really neat.
I think it's a really good idea that we could promote that as a program for children with special needs.
And that's the intention,
Right.
To have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Are you done with your report?
No, there's
I interrupted, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a good question. So here are some pictures from our February kids nights. The two on the right were our heart wreath kids night. Those were really cool because kids got super creative. They always get super creative during kids nights, but it was really fun to see the different ways they used the materials that we provided them to create their own heart wreaths. And then the two pictures on the right were from our potions party kids night. That kids night came from the Kayla Trevino, the Southmost Children's Librarian, in my discussion a couple months ago about how when we were kids, we liked mixing things, mostly mud, I'm sure to our parents' delight. So we had the idea to have a kind of an experiment potions party kids night, and it was really fun. There were just a few ingredients. It was shaving cream and vinegar and I think baking powder. And all it did was it fizzled, and it was fun and colorful.
There was squealing.
Yes, yeah, it was fun. The kids had a lot of fun.
I think it exploded, right?
No, it wouldn't come up a lot. It was just little fizzle. Yeah, a little bubble. At our Southwest branch, we have these two super cool new gaming systems. They're called Touch to Play, and they're in the wall on the children's section. So you can see on the left, there's a before picture of what used to be there. And now there are these two giant gaming systems, and I've tried them myself. They were really fun. I really enjoyed them. And as you can see, kids are really enjoying them also. What used to be there was a Lego sheet where you could stick Legos. So that'll be repurposed. And upcoming in March, our kids' night, we're having one kids' night, and it is DIY puzzles. And that's going to be really cool. We've got these blank puzzles. They're already put together. So the kids will draw on them, whatever design they want. They can break them up and put them back together. And our usual programming: sensory-friendly play date, toddler play date, Lego lab, stories and snacks, stories y cuentos, and bouncing babies. So thank you.
Thank you for that report. Teen Services.
That's me. Hi, I'm Sarah Weisinger. I'm the Teen Services Librarian here. So for Teen Night in February, a lot of our February stuff had some Valentine's themes to it. We did a Valentine's night, but we kind of added a little bit of depth and difference by making them Cubism Valentines. And it gave us the opportunity to talk about, this is going to sound complex. We did it in a simple way, expressing something that is more of a three-dimensional thing in a two-dimensional kind of space. And then the other kind of idea that we just talked about a little bit was just breaking up things from the whole and then making personal meaning out of that. So we were just trying to add some depth to the typical Valentine creation. We talked about the history of Cubism a very little bit, and Cubism came out of an art movement where everything was kind of traditional and impressionist, and then two of the more expert impressionists kind of, I would say, they got kind of bored with creating pretty pictures, and they started to like riff on what that might mean for them. And so part of the discussion was also about collaboration and what collaboration, the benefits of it. Two people kind of working with and against each other at the same time can create something different and better. Anyways, so what you see here are a few of the Cubism Valentines created, and they tended to add layers to it, some color blocking. The younger ones tended to just create colors that they liked. We had one little girl who showed up and everything just had to be pink, of course. So, but she had a great time. She came with her mom and her dad and her aunt. And so what we saw a lot was families kind of coming together to do this together and in some ways playing off of each other as they were creating. And I thought that was a really sweet
family time.
Yeah, especially with teenagers. You can move forward. So we had our second Dungeons and Dragons night, and Michelle was our dungeon master. We again kind of added a different level of detail here. We kind of took the idea of the 5 love languages. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but the idea that, different love languages connect with different people. I just wanted them to start to examine their own family life and what has meaning for them and what doesn't have meaning for them through this example. And so that was a big idea that sat kind of behind everything. We kept it as simple as possible. We had 5 characters that they had to discover in our Dungeons and Dragons story and board. We gave them kind of a secret clue list, which helped them understand the love languages and what would work for each animal in the story. And we had a pretty huge response. We had like over 20 kids. It was, and some adults showed up also. So our tables were packed. We were kind of armed to do 1 table, but had to break off into 2 because we had a lot of people show up. And the part that probably made me the happiest, there were kind of 2 things. One was that they brought their friends, like people that we hadn't seen before. And it was like, yeah, I brought my friend. They wanted to do this too. And I was like, yeah, I think we've got a winner there. And then one kid told me a story after he went to our first D&D night. He was kind of excited about it, and he saw out in his life some other kids playing, and he felt the confidence to go up and walk up to those other kids and become a part of that game as a result of playing the first one with us, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's so great. Like, we kind of opened a world to them. They want more. Our dungeon master has been reemployed. So we're kind of sad, but we're exploring options to figure out how that can work. It's if you haven't played Dungeons and Dragons, it's a really fun, creative game that requires a lot of thinking on the fly and creativity. And so it has a lot of value for kids. Just as an example, people also kind of do it their whole life. My brother is 55. He's been playing Dungeons and Dragons since he was 12 with the same group of guys. So, I mean, isn't that crazy? But anyways, that's why we think Dungeons and Dragons is also a good option for the library. It builds relationships that last and last and last. A cool story, yeah. So the second part of the Valentine's theme is we tried to do a date night for teens, and we did it with make your own popcorn. And thankfully, we had no accidents, no burns, no drama. I was a little concerned about that, but we kind of worked through some pretty careful details and monitored. We had, I know, one official date showed up. Somebody's mom arranged the date, and it was very sweet to watch. And then the rest were a lot of kids. There were a couple of sisters that live across town, and they met up to go to the movie. Their kids were of very varied ages, and they didn't completely love the movie because it was a dubbed movie. But and I think they had about the same kind of response at Southmost. We just had more kids at Maine. I'm sorry, I forgot to show the popcorn station here. We basically had a microwave. We had 2 silicone poppers, and then we had pretty clear instructions that helped them work through that process of how do you make your own popcorn, not burn yourself, put it in a bowl, make flavors, and then, they took it to their seat. And they did make their own popcorn, which they seemed to enjoy quite a bit. I just wanted them to have kind of a light cooking experience that they could transfer into their life. And this is one way they could do it that's affordable, interesting, and a little bit different. So this is what we have coming up in March. We've done the March 3 teen night. We did spring wire flowers, and it was, I have to say, quite a success. We basically took wire, thin, I think it's 20 gauge wire, and wove it together in ways that made flowers. Again, there were a lot of families that showed up and like took over tables together. One of my families from the Valentine's, Cubas of Valentine's showed up again for this too, so that was really great. For Teen Advisory Night, we're going to have an introduction to Zentangle, which is kind of a structured doodling thing that people can do. It kind of helps you feel like a more expert drawer, even if you don't feel like that's your core skill. It's also, for me personally, I've done it, and it always helps me listen in a meeting or high school. I was a big doodler and I didn't quite understand. And when I started to do Zentangle, I now understand why doodling helped me listen, pay attention, and absorb more of what was going on. And then we're going to show Ponyo. Ponyo is, it's a goldfish princess who goes on an adventure with a 5-year-old boy. So it'll have broader appeal. The colors and the details of the animation are really dynamic and amazing. And I think it will be a great hit. We're gonna then also, I think we're gonna kind of, you call it personalized seashells and with paints, acrylic paints and stuff. So it should be fun for those who aren't loving the movie too.
Can I ask a question?
Good.
Like the people that come to your teen programs, is it new families or are they just kind of walk-bys and then they get, oh, this looks intrigued, or how does it?
I feel like the kids kind of help to drive some of it. Like we always make an announcement that it's going on. But we don't always get a lot of drive-bys. I feel like we get more like word of mouth. I have a couple families that are, I would call them dedicated. They always show up over and over. And then, like I said, some kids are bringing their friends, and that always helps too. And then there's a lot of kids that study in the teen zone. So it helps. We try to draw them in if we can, and sometimes that's a yes, and other times it's like a no. So we just kind of let them do what they want to do. Usually with anime movies, like we kind of set it up so that there's the couches are in the front, and then the work tables and the hang tables are in the back. And so we usually have a lot of people in and out on the couches. So if they come up and want to break from studying, they can sometimes come up and get a snack in or just hang out and see if they like it and then go. It really depends. It's kind of different every time. I've had, a few homeschool kids that show up. We did something in January. It wasn't a super success because for a couple of reasons, but we had a goals buffet. And a homeschooled mom brought her reluctant son. She kind of like dragged him up and made him participate. And she was kind of poking at him a little bit, like, listen and participate. And I was just like, oh my God, this is not going to help. So eventually she kind of got bored and went for a walk, and he loosened up. So, I think people have been trying this out, but then they come back a bit. Hopefully because they have a nice experience.
Thank you so much for that, Makerspace.
Well, Anthony for Makerspace. So, some quick updates. For February, we had our sewing heart events. So we provided them a kit so that they could practice sewing, and it was Valentine's Day. Everyone really seemed to enjoy it based on feedback. They like those events. So this is our second time doing a sewing event, and we have variety. Kids, adults, teens, everyone pretty much shows up for those. We also had our exploration theater, which is still very popular with everyone. We show movies regarding the solar system, outer space, science on Earth, the weather. So coming up in March, we have our pressed flower art events where we teach them how to do art using pressed flowers. We teach them how to create their own at home as well. We had a good turnout at Southmost, since they had about almost 60 attend there, and we'll have ours later on this month. So we're very excited for that. And then one of the new services we have at the library is direct-to-film printing. It's visually set up at both branches. Southmost is just pending to test it, and once they worked out all the kinks, we'll advertise it. It's relatively cheap. It's $2 for an 8.5 by 11 sheet. We already have a lot of people coming to use it, and it's just through word of mouth. So once we officially announce day we have it, we're expecting quite a few people to show up. So we made a couple bags already. Some people showed up for Dr. Seuss for the week and had some shirts made. I had today a pest control company. They made like some sample shirts for their business, and they really enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do? Design it or? just the color?
You only need to provide us the design, and we will print it out for you. Oh, and the shirt, yes. And the fabric you're gonna. Yes. So you can go on anything, any color fabric. Before with sublimation, it had to be a polyester shirt with it had to be white. And with this, it could be cotton, you name it, dry fit, polyester, any color. Print it out, comes out nice. It feels kind of similar to a screen printing, but it's less expensive.
Any questions? Anyone? Thank you for that review. Outreach.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Taylor. I'm the Library Services Coordinator for both of your branches. To start off this month, I'm going to talk a little bit about what the city of Brownsville did for Black History Month. They decided to do a proclamation celebrating Black History Month in the month of February. And our part of their initiative was to create displays of different Black authors and different stories that really elevate and show off excellence when dealing with this topic. As you can see, we have them at both branches in all sections of our library, from adults to youth services to teens to children. And then our creative services specialists, along with our children's department, created really cool infographics on specific authors that we promote throughout the month of February to really show off how our collection has been built and grown to be truly inclusive for our public. Next slide, please. With Black History Month, we collaborated with Parks Department to go to their Black History Month festival. This was their first one that they've ever done. It's their inaugural event. And a lot of the people there really liked that we were including different posts of different children's authors, as well as diversifying our adult collection to not just be history books, but also in our fiction collection as well. We saw 76 people at this event, and we were able to collaborate with, again, Parks. You see Dr. Caldwell as well as Commissioner Martinez there celebrating for Black History Month as well. Our next event that we went to was BISD's Parent and Family Engagement Department Annual Bilingual Parent Symposium. Sometimes we get very weird. This is one of the events that we like to go to kind of show off that a lot of our programming has bilingual features to them so that we help out in our community. They were interested to learn that our computer classes still remain bilingual as you go in, so that you're able to learn about computers in English and Spanish, as well as how to check out librarian feature that Ms. Bertha mentioned, and Mingo languages that they also promote through their computer classes this past month. We had 398 people that we spoke to there. Next slide, please. Sorry. Continuing our collaboration with BISD, we were able to do their migrant tech meeting.
So their Migrant Family Department, we've collaborated with them for over 4 years. This year, we were able to do a presentation with them to all of their families, as well as an informational table. We're able to see 185 people. And then we moved on to Martin Elementary. This was a collaboration where they were able to do a presentation and read books to the students. They did, however, have where there was some students who did not want to have their pictures taken. So we respected their process to make sure that we were helping out the children and still making sure that we were being inclusive in that manner. They even suggested that we should have more merch for the library and more themed t-shirts. So we'll look into seeing what we can do with that to help our public. We were able to see 15 people there. Please. Children's Department also collaborated with the Children's Museum on Children's Book Day. So they were able to read to different people who were coming throughout the different modules of the event. You see Miss Avery enjoying herself, reading a weather book, different displays of the Children's Museum. But we always have a lot of fun when they let us go in. It's a loud experience, but a nice experience. And we look forward to collaborating with them more in the future. We were able to see 84 people. Our next event was with Idea Frontier, where we started with our career fairs. We are doing additional career fairs throughout this month as well. So a lot of the schools want to know kind of how you became a librarian, how you got into being in this field, as well as what does your actual day look like. And a lot of the times it's very surprising to them what type of events the library gets to do and play. So we showed off on our 3D printing and they were like, wait, libraries do that? Along with the teen anime nights. Again, libraries have anime. They're allowed to watch movies during their shift. Yes, this is the fun stuff we get to do. There's a lot of planning to it, but there's also a lot of fun that can be had. We were able to see 180 people there. Next slide, please. For February, we had 6 events. We had one that we were unable to go to due to scheduling conflict. We were able to see over 1,000 people, leading our year total for fiscal year to be 13,500 and some change. As I said before, we are continuing our trend of career days with Jubilee this month in March. And then we will be going over to do the passport fair, as well as, the salute with our aging adults at the end of the month. Does anybody have any questions, queries, suggestions? Guys?
Thank you. Friends of the library.
You guys decorated my slide. Right now, we're running short-staffed, and with, I don't even know how to explain it. Right now, we're just running short-staffed. We haven't had a whole lot of the college students this semester like we normally do. We're still asking around to see if we can get people in. But other than that, we're running as we have people to come in at both branches now.
How have helping with our staff done it?
Oh, with Falcon it's been going great. We have signs on both doors. It says to ask the circulation desk if they'd like to visit the store, and they do have quite a few people asked to go in. We have it simplified to do the sales, so it doesn't take up too much time.
Let's talk about maybe you too.
Okay. But yes, the librarian staff is awesome. They help us out at both branches as much as they can.
If people want to volunteer, who do they have to see? You?
It would be me, or they could just send an email with their information when they're available.
We have started promoting the ability to volunteer at Friends of the Library with secondary schools. There tend to be a lot of honor students who have requirements. to volunteer at the library has, you know, a few more extra steps and it takes a little bit more time. I have promoted the idea with a couple of honors guides at a couple of schools, and just recently shared it again with the secondary school librarians. I was hoping to help push a few more teens to the Friends of the Library, just because it would be a great, you know, kind of pre-work experience, and the opportunity to get personal reference for a possible future job. Also, so far it's not reaped a whole lot, I don't think.
No, I haven't had anything come back of that, but I appreciate
The
that.
idea,
But
because it's a
juniors and seniors are required to do.
16 and up, it's a good first kind of work-like experience.
But it gives them also the money handling and just people interaction. A lot of teens now are not, they can't talk to people.
I'm hoping it has more pickup over the summer.
I'm hoping as well.
Maybe we can talk to our creative service specialist so we can put an announcement up also.
Okay.
That volunteers need it on social media, yeah.
Okay.
We'll work on something.
We appreciate any help we get.
Thank you for that report. And one more item before we close. It's not on our agenda. I attended the luncheon for boards and city commission that the city of Brownsville hosted last weekend during Charo Days. And this was what they gave us as a proclamation, thanking all boards and city boards and volunteers for the hard work that they do. So.
Posted in their office.
Yes. Any other questions? Anything else? All of you doing great work in each and every one of your areas. I think I've said this one time too many, but y'all have your hands full and you do a wonderful job at what you do. We just need to keep encouraging the public to come out. And you do a very good job of it with going to your career fairs and all these other events that you attend, because I've seen you at several events. And so thank you all for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Y'all go above and beyond. Thank you. Anything else? Any other discussion? Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Is that sad?
So moved. Chris.
Mr. Chris?
Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
But thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you
all.
next month.